Hey, welcome back to the Vault of Cult with your host Chris and
Mark. You alright?
Mon Frere.
Yeah.
Mon Frere extraordinaire.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Homo, life mate.
Yeah.
Just getting out there.
Well, you're doing alright.
Yeah, we're good, guys.
Back.
Hope you're good.
Yeah.
Good to be back. I know it's been a few weeks since the last show.
Yeah, exactly. Although we did leave you with length and girth.
Yeah.
Length and girth.
We
last
thought
time.
we'll need a breather here.
Yeah, we'll treat you to it.
That was an epic show.
It was an epic show. So, but we're back to normal. So this will be your usual compact thoughts about a particular film.
Yes.
So,
talking about that, Mark. What is this episode about?
Well, this week's episode will be about the 1988. I think very much a cult film nowadays.
It has a following, obviously. That's why I'm doing
it. Beetlejuice.
3 times.
3 times. It's coming now. It's coming now.
Come in.
Okay. So yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Join us for his thoughts, and as always, you can always get us on all of the social medias.
Socials are on at the Vault of Cult at Instagram and the Vault of Cult at gmail.com, you know, or you can leave a comment, as people have been leaving comments on Spotify. You can rate us again, guys, you know what I mean, like us, rate us, share us.
Yeah. And what do you think of this film? What do you think about any of the films
that we do? You know, we like about and we want to welcome our new listeners from the other side of the world.
Yeah, from Malaysia. Nice to have you with us from Kuala Lumpur.
So we hope you enjoy our new listeners.
Do you know, Kuala Lumpur, I used to think that we're a made-up place that by Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That
is it mentioned in it?
Yeah,
is it?
That's where the Oompa Loompas are from in that.
In
Roald Dahl's book.
We know all Malaysians are not small.
No, we know
people.
that. Don't cancel us.
Please
I'm not saying I think that. I'm simply saying that's what happened.
That's in a film that was made before anyone was born.
Yeah.
Well, I was not far behind.
Yeah.
Because I'm that old.
But yes.
So yeah, get in touch, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show. And like we say, this one's about Beetlejuice. We know it's a popular film, that's why we're picking it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get on with it.
Let's go.
So Mark, Beetlejuice from 1988.
Yes. Beetlejuice released on the 30th of March. 1988.
Okay, not a summer film.
Not a summer film. Well, it was a summer film here.
Was it?
August 1988.
Was it?
August 1988. Mate, we've gotten used nowadays, again, and we've said this many times, of a worldwide release. Such was not the case in the 80s.
Yeah, you know.
The even in its original run, the last place it was released, I think I remember reading, was Argentina, and that was it. That was in 1989, so it was a year
right,
later.
yeah.
So
okay.
it's very difficult to discern these things. So I've just gone with the American domestic release, which is the 30th of March.
What about its financials?
I'll get to the financials in a minute. Its runtime is 1 hour and 32 minutes.
An hour and a half.
There
we go,
an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Just over an hour and a half. Which, like we've said before,
they don't make them anymore.
They simply don't make a film like this. This is the sort of film which is made to be watched in an evening. Everyone's home from work or whatever it is, and you can watch it in an evening, and then you've still got time to do your ablutions, do your and you know what I mean. And that is a sad loss to cinema that they ain't got them. And I know we've said it many times.
You know, guys, you know.
It's produced by the Geffen Company and distributed by Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Geffen, of course, being
David Geffen's company.
Yeah, the G in DreamWorks, SKG.
Yes.
Yeah. What about its financials? It was made on a budget of 15 million. So
very reasonable. Yeah. Very modest budget, at the time.
Very modest budget, really. And it made worldwide 74.7 million.
So profitable.
Very profitable. Very big hit. But here's where it gets interesting. Only $299,000 was internationally. That is its domestic figure for its run. 299,000. Didn't even hit 1 million. Because of how it was released. It was released all over the place. And
that used to be regional, yeah. They used to in America. They release films regionally
with no figures, with no real figures
okay.
internationally.
Okay.
Well, there will be, but that is financial accounting that I think lies beyond the scope of this podcast. In other words, that's too much that I can be reasonably asked to look into. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't be asked.
Yeah, we do enough research, guys. We do enough.
Do you know what I mean? So for its initial run...
We do more than most shows.
Yeah, and I think a big chunk of that 299,000 is mostly in the UK. It was a modest success in the UK as well. But I just thought that was very interesting. It has been a hit worldwide, but I don't think that's particularly reflected in the numbers here. Do you know what I mean?
But because, like you say, we're working on scraps.
Yeah, we're working on scrap. Like I say, in South America, it's over a year later. Yeah. Over a year later, they're not counting that. That's part of another financial year.
Yeah,
that
getting technical financial?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's its financial. So, but even just with those domestic numbers, that's a pretty big hit for Warner Brothers, really, and the Geffen Company.
Yeah. Well, again, the Geffen Company primarily it was a David Geffen record.
Yeah, it was his record label.
Nirvana was signed, just for example. Yeah, but a lot of big stars.
Yeah,
were on David Geffen's record label.
So. I would say very big hit.
Big hit, yeah. When anything makes 4 times its budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Bang, we're laughing here.
Although nowadays, if a film only made 74 million...
I think the money this film made enabled Warner Brothers to... I think what he did was, right, I want to do Batman now. And they went, okay.
Yeah, well, that's wonderfully segued into... Who directed it, Christine?
Directed by a gentleman that we've all heard of and we're all aware of, Tim Burton.
Who's that then?
He directed Batman 89, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns. His first film before they did film a film starring Pee Wee Herman.
Can't stand
Paul
Pee-wee.
Rubin. Deaded.
Yeah. He is.
That is a very American it's a bit creepy.
Yeah, I remember an auntie of mine had it on video.
The film. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, the film. I know it were a big TV show in America. It was very... Like, again, we've discussed this before, but occasionally you do see stuff from the 80s and 90s and they just don't translate. You've got it, America, that's yours.
A bit like Whizbit.
Yeah. You can
guys, Google Whizbit. Wizbit, starring a TV magician.
Yeah.
Called Paul Daniels. For our international listeners, Google Whizbit starring Paul Daniels.
It doesn't translate.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. You keep it, America. You have that. You have Pee-wee. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, an auntie of mine had it, and it were one of those like, oh, just put video on for kids and put that on, and we'd all be like, what is this nonsense?
It's odd concept.
But yeah, he directed that, and I think that gave him...
I think
it was a big hit for Warner Brothers, so it was a big hit.
I do think they see potential in Tim Burton, and obviously with that, they can, I think that what led on to them giving him.
He worked for Disney.
He did a lot of the animation for Disney, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think anyone who's ever seen a Tim Burton film can fucking tell as well that he worked quite heavily in animation.
I think he's solidifying his visual palette here in this film.
Yeah, I think that this is...
and then the Danny Elfman score kind of, okay.
Yeah, and they would work together very
successfully.
Often. Yeah, I've got written to get it down here. He scored all but 3 of Tim Burton's major releases.
Danny Elfman, you know what Danny Elfman did the score for? Milk. Good film.
Good film. Very good film.
Yeah, I do like Danny Elfman.
I don't think I'm jumping anything.
You know what Danny Elfman sounds. You know his score.
I really like particularly the intro to this
Very good.
Film. Very good.
And I think this, do you know what?
It fits the film.
It really, really does. And I think the only shame about that is I think there's only maybe no more than 3-4 sequences where the score does.
Well, we'll come to. We will come to that.
So it's written by a couple of gentlemen called Michael McDowell, who was mainly known at the time for. He's not really done anything major. Mainly horror TV shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and a guy called Warren Scarron, and he would dabbled with the script for Batman 89. Well, I'm going to refer to Batman as Batman 89. We'll just.
You can just call it Batman. They know who we're talking about.
Yeah, all right. Cinematographer, which I think nothing. I know we like to talk about cinematography on the show. And me in particular. I don't think there's anything flashy. I think it does its job, the cinematography in this. It was quite a colourful film.
It's a very colourful
It's like
film.
Technicolor.
Yeah.
You know, it does show the green picket fence, blue sky.
Quite intentional.
Middle America,
Very intentional.
And then obviously when you go into the afterlife, the underworld or whatever you want to call it, you know, you get a lot of purples and greens and smoke and... more texture, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everything has a texture to it. Mm-hmm. But that was cinematography by Thomas Ackerman, who has worked on Jumanji.
Yeah. Fucking love Jumanji. You know how I like Jumanji.
I do. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, okay.
And here's another film, Mike, this is a bit strange. A film me and Mark have talked about on more than one occasion. Rat Race.
Oh, it's nothing but a smack in the face.
Yeah.
It's nothing but a fat rat race.
Rat Race.
Love that film.
It's an ace.
It's an ace.
It's an ace.
It's an ace. Go crazy.
Anyone who's seen that film would get that.
Yeah.
Edited by Jane Curson, who edited Hot Shots and Karate Kid Part 2. Editing is serviceable. Nothing interesting there. It just does its job. Again, like the cinematography, but
yeah,
that's fine. And again, we mentioned music by Danny Elfman,
which is quite excellent. The stuff that we hear, the actual
when it does get time to shine.
When the pieces of music that are in it are excellent, and I would like to particularly call a point to the credits, the opening credits.
Yeah, it's a good sequence.
It's an excellent
because it goes from live action to the model.
It's an excellent use of visuals with the exact kind of. It sets the tone for the film.
Yes,
it sets the tone for the film very well.
I agree. I couldn't really find any information about the special effects.
Well,
there is some practical. There's stop motion in there.
There's a lot of stop.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, with the sandworms,
the sandworm,
and all at the end sequence in the house. You know where all the sculptures are moving about.
I forget his name. I didn't write him down. Foolishly, I didn't write the production designer down.
No, I didn't.
Which is foolish, really, because I would say in terms of its visual style of the thing, it's the most memorable part of the film. Or the thing that people most remember.
I've got stuff to say about.
Well, we shall come to it.
But I agree with you.
It's what people remember. The visual
if I was to be
style.
critical, if I was to be a little bit critical about the production design, it's almost a bit too clean. In terms of if you look at. Tim Burton, where he went in terms of visual style and production design after that.
I get what you mean. I don't really see it as a criticism.
But, no, I'm just saying.
But I think that's more on the road of development.
And I think you can see the budget as well in it.
Well, they only spent, jumping ahead of herself here, but out of a budget of $15 million. Only $1 million was given over to the visual effects work,
and they did a lot with $1 million.
Yeah, and we'll come on to that. But first, why don't we give us the cast?
Right. So
who's in it? What?
My cast list is only small because there's only so many significant.
Yeah, but we're not bothered about one or two scenes. You know what I mean? Like.
Here's our main cast. Alec Baldwin plays Adam Maitland.
It's Alec Baldwin. You know who Alec Baldwin is. He's in one of my favourite films of all time.
And that's the first thing I put down, Hunt for Red October.
Guys, that's one of my favourite films of all time. I love it. It's a fucking stunning
film. Do you want to watch a film about people on a submarine? Watch that one.
Watch that one. Love that film.
Gina Davis plays his wife, Barbara Maitland, and she obviously in The Fly, Thelma and Louise.
Thelma.
She is.
Or is she Louise? No, she's Thelma.
Jeff Jones plays Charles Dietz, who...
He's in a lot of films in the 80s,
He is in a hell of a lot of films. You would recognise his face. He was in Hunt for Red October.
He was in Hunt for Red October. He was terribly big.
He was also in... These are just select filmographies, guys. He was also in Sleepy Hollow and Howard the Duck. So he's
Howard the Duck.
And Howard the Duck. I thought I'd put that.
I really like Sleepy Hollow. I know I say nearly every time we mention Tim Burton, but I do like it. I'm sorry.
Catherine O'Hara plays his wife, Delia Dietz. She's more well known for being the mummy in Home Alone 1 and 2.
Internationally, I think we'd all know her from Home Alone.
Yeah.
But more recently, in a very successful TV show called Schitt's Creek.
Is she in that?
Yeah,
she's a good comedy actress.
She's mostly in comedies. Is Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
She also does a lot of voice work. Does Catherine O'Hara?
She works a lot with like the Spinal Tap guys, which Jeff Jones has done as well.
She met her husband on this film, who was the aforementioned production designer. Who we have forgotten to write down. So, who was the production designer? It was Catherine O'Hara's husband.
Covered that base. We've ticked the box.
Tick. Whatever his name is.
That's her husband. Winona Ryder plays Lydia Dietz.
I didn't look at her filmography before this, but is this her first film?
No. Heather's was.
Was it?
Heather's, yeah. She was obviously in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
And Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, good for her.
Oh, and Stranger Things.
And she is in Stranger.
She's having a resurgence.
I think younger people, much like Catherine O'Hara, has probably got a resurgence for younger audience for Stranger Things, Catherine's got for Schitt's Creek.
Will's mum.
Yes. Yeah.
Still, right, here's one. I know, I thought it was... I needed to mention this lady in the cast. Sylvia Sidney plays Juno.
Yeah.
Who's the woman who's like... She doesn't run the afterlife, but she's like a guide that you go
servant,
to. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Love that character in this film.
Love that character. We will come to
and then obviously here we go, the big boy, Michael Keaton.
Who plays
Beetlejuice. And obviously he's Batman in Batman and Batman Returns. And like I've said to you, he's very good in a film called The Founder, which is about McDonald's.
I've never watched it.
It's fucking really good.
I know, you mentioned it. You've mentioned it at least 3 or 4 times to me, and I've gone, all right.
It's definitely worth a watch. I recommend that film to a lot of people who haven't seen it. I go, no, good film. Good film. And obviously he has been he's been Batman again.
He has been Batman again.
So, moving on to the plot.
Yeah.
So there's our main cast. That's it. That's the cast. Basically.
Yeah. Everyone else is just popping in and out.
Yeah. So the plot revolves around a recently deceased couple who, as ghosts haunting their former home, contact Beetlejuice, an obnoxious and devious bioexorcist from the netherworld, to scare the home's new inhabitants away. So they die. The Dietzes move in with their daughter.
And the Maitlands want to scare them away, but they don't really know how to. They try and ask.
They're trying to learn to be ghosts.
They try and ask the authorities of the afterlife, which I've got many things to say about that whole sequence. That don't work, so they go for a bit of a rogue guy who says he's a bioexorcist
and he can help. He can assist them.
Yeah, and what they mean is to scare them away.
Yeah,
basically, but he's naughty. You shouldn't be dealing with Beetlejuice.
He's got his own agenda.
He has got his own agenda. And thus, shenanigans. Shenaniganary. That's
shenaniganary.
It is absolute shenaniganary that ensues. So that's the basic plot of the film. Shall I give him some fun facts to have fun with? Shall we have fun? Burton's original choice to play Beetlejuice was actually Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
Interesting, but also wildly out of there.
Stupid idea.
Stupid idea. Warner Brothers said no. Warner Brothers said...
They don't have very many good ideas in them these days, but that was one.
But at that point, there was like, no, absolutely not. And Michael Keaton was suggested to Tim Burton by David Geffen. Basically, he said...
Well, the thing is, as well, even when...
He said, what about Michael Keaton? Right. And Tim Burton knew nothing about Michael Keaton.
No, because the film they did were... No one remembers them before this. And even when they suggested even Batman, they were like, whoa.
Yeah.
Mr. Mom.
But I think this film made the two of them stars.
Yes, like, oh, I like you. You're right.
Batman wouldn't have happened without this film.
Agreed.
Having been a financial and commercial success.
Yes.
And because, interestingly, not a terribly big critical success.
Doesn't surprise
at the
me.
time. Well, maybe we'll get to that.
Yes, we will.
I'd get 50-50. It was genuinely 50-50 at the time.
I think it's more of an audience caught on than the critics caught on.
Yeah, I think so. I think audiences really enjoyed that, which realistically is the thing that counts.
True.
Do you know
well,
what I mean?
they're the ones that put in the fucking dollar signs up, aren't they?
Well, exactly.
The original title was Scared Sheetless.
Well, that's an interesting story. The Warner Brothers...
You get it, guys. Scared Sheetless.
Right. The original title was Beetlejuice, but the production... spelt Beetlejuice.
Yeah, like it is in the film.
Like it is in the film. The original title was Beetlejuice. But Warner Brothers didn't like... Or David Geffen's company, I can't remember which, didn't like it. So they tried to change it to House Ghosts, right? Which was shit title.
That's more like an impression
right. So
title.
Tim Burton jokingly said, "Why don't we call it Scared Sheetless?" And David Geffen were genuinely like, "Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Let's do that."
Clever that.
And apparently Tim Burton was horrified by that notion. I'm taking piss. And in the end, they compromised to Beetlejuice, but with juice spelt like juice, as in like.
And nowhere in the film is it spelt like juice.
Nowhere in the film is it spelt like that. I can't for the life of me think why, but they did what they did.
Do you know what Beetlejuice is though?
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no.
A constellation.
Oh, yeah, of course it is, yeah. Beetlejuice.
It's a constellation. Yeah. That's where they got the name from.
Yeah. Somewhere in the direction of Beetlejuice.
Up that way.
To quote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Plus, they have little things in your ear where it translated. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Right, several actresses were auditioned for... Delia. Barbara, Jean Davis's part, including Sarah Jessica Parker.
Okay.
Sarah Jessica
I mean, she'd only done what? That's around Flight the Navigator era?
Yeah, I guess so.
So she would have been...
She is only young, but then again, Gina Davis is quite young, really.
Oh.
In this...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's not now, but neither is Sarah Jessica Parker.
No,
then.
I mean at the time. Because she's in Flight the Navigator.
Yeah. Brooke Shields.
Oh.
Mm.
Can't act.
But I did think to myself when I read that, this is probably about the only film where I could see Brooke Shields being able to do it. Do you know what I mean?
There's not much to go on. There's not much meat on that. Lines.
Diane Lane. Molly Ringwald auditioned for it. She'd have been a bit young, wouldn't she? She would have been a bit young.
No, okay, I can see that.
Mate, she played teenagers all the way through the fucking 80s.
Yeah, but she was 37 at the time. John Hughes
and Jennifer Connelly.
Right. Oh,
Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, I wonder how old she would have been at the time then.
Not very old. Yeah, all of them very young. I feel like the actress who got it is exactly the right age.
I agree.
Davis.
Yeah, she was young there, weren't they?
Look, late 20s, early 30s. Yes. Whereas some of these will have been Sarah Jessica Parker and Brooke Shields after had been 21 if they were a day.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I would say.
Can't have been a day old.
Brooke Shields must have still been a teenager.
Sprig of a girl. of those. Anyway, yeah, I just thought that were interesting. Originally cast as Delia Deetz was Angelica Houston.
True story.
Angelica Houston, but she was poorly. She got sick. She got sickered. Now, I think that's interesting because I'm a big fan of both these women. I am a big fan of.
But I think they've got the casting right.
But what I was going to say
a comedy actress.
I am very glad that it ended up being Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
As much as I've oodles of respect for Angelica Houston,
100%.
I think she's a fabulous actress.
Yeah.
Angelica Houston, and also another actress will be in stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know how I've got a soft spot for actresses who'll be in stuff because they like it. But yeah, strange choice. But I think Angelica Houston could have done it. She's been in comedic roles before where she's excelled.
Addams Family.
Do you know what I mean?
92, I think, Addams Family.
That's what immediately I thought. Like, she's brilliant as Morticia. She's brilliant.
But I know that character isn't a gothic.
No, but she'd have brought a different. Yeah, but she'd have brought something different to it.
She could have done it.
She could have done it. Anyway, that's enough about the cast, except to say a lot of them needed to convince. They weren't sure about the script. But this script went through work was done.
This is
work.
I'm not surprised
because the original script was much darker, much darker. The Maitland's death was graphically in the thing. You see them drowned. Like the last shot of the thing in the screenplay was supposed to be. Literally Gina Davis's part, like it's sort of written like, and death takes her, like the light goes out. That shot of
I'm dead,
like I'm dead, which is a totally different tone.
Yes,
totally different tone. Beetlejuice is a much darker, more malevolent figure in the original thing. He's genuinely out to kill the Deetzes in the original thing. Like, kill them dead.
I mean, it does hint at... when he
he hints at danger, but he never once... Clearly his aim in the final cut of the film is to scare them away.
Yes.
It's not
We're not killing them,
we're not killing them and scaring them away.
So they run.
In the original script, he's out to kill them. That snake scene, he's out to eat them in... the original, not cut of the film, in the original script. Because it was rewritten twice. The original one was written by Michael McDowell, which it was pitched to. Who did the pitch, and then Larry Wilson rewrote it.
We've got credits.
Yeah, and then that final guy, beginning with S, I forgot, I haven't written his name down. His surname begins with S.
Oh, Warren Scarron.
Yeah. And he was the one who finally made the film that we've got on screen before us. So it was originally it was originally pitched to Universal by Michael McDowell, and Universal.
Oh, shopping scripts around.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Larry Wilson, who was one of the writers, but was also one of the producers, basically, he saw some potential in it and came to Universal. And Universal said, "This piece of weirdness, is this what you're going to go out into the world with? You're developing into a very good executive, and you've got great taste in material. Why are you going to squander all of that on this piece of shit?" So I'm going to quote. Well, that's what Larry Wilson says. They said.
We'll just take that as fact.
We'll just take. All right then. So, and he said.
Hard cold rumor.
Yeah, he says that goes to show what that you do need to get the right studio. Do you know what I mean? Because clearly,
or maybe Universal. Shit.
Well, maybe the screenplay, but we'll never. We'll never know. We'll never know.
We got what we got.
Yeah. Eventually, Larry Wilson took it to David Geffen, and David Geffen saw some potential.
And he went, "I want to start making movies now."
Yeah, and he was like, "Go on then." He took it to the Geffen company. So yeah, like I say, its budget was 15 million, but only 1 million given over to the visual effects, and they do a lot. Then
they do
with that amount of money.
Won an
They do a
Oscar.
lot. It won an Oscar for best makeup, and I can 100% see that for the makeup in this thing. 100% see why.
Yeah, because there's a lot of practical stuff that you just don't get anymore.
Well, yeah, I know, but even just the actual makeup. Do you know what I mean? It's very good. It's very cartoony.
Yes.
Intentionally so.
Very much so.
Very much intentionally so. So, yeah, I do think it's an interesting film. How many rewrites it went? They went through 3 writers, all 3 who have been credited, by the way, in the
yeah,
in the
they
thing.
do.
They don't just credit the final guy, and so how different it started off to what we ended up with. Because I think it started off as a comedic horror, and now it's just a comedy, really. Do you know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm fine with things just being what they are.
Yeah. I don't think the tone is the problem with the thing.
The tone is not the problem.
It's not.
Thing. So, yeah. So there it is, guys. Some
interesting.
Fun stuff to add. Did you have else to add?
No, mate. No, I'm happy with that. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that.
So, come on then. Let's get into our analyses.
Right, okay. So, let me just start off the bat. Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, very handsome people.
They're beautiful, aren't they? Pretty.
But I think that's intentional because they're very...
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
I think their characters are like you say, they're in the mid-20s to early 30s, couple that are in love. Obviously, it hints at they can't have kids.
It does hint at that.
Just one hint.
Just one hint right at the beginning. You
see the look in her face when it
she says, "This house is for a family,"
it's too big for you too.
It's too big for you too. It's for a family, and she's like, "Oh, Barbara, I'm sorry." The woman who comes round, clearly real estate agent.
Very good looking couple.
Very good looking couple. But what about their performance?
Well, Alec Baldwin hates this film.
Right. What I've got to say about this part, Alec Baldwin's part, is by far the most boring part in the film.
I know, but
he's not got a lot to work with.
I know. I'm not blaming the guy. It's
thin gruel. I think out of the two, the stronger of the two is Gina Davis, but she's got more to work with than him.
Yeah.
Out of the out of the two, the one that you're supposed to be watching, and also let's not forget, it's her character that makes any decision. He makes no decisions in the thing. He does literally what his missus tells him to do.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, we'll do that then.
We'll do that then."
We'll do that.
She tells him to do everything in the film, basically. So, again, it is one of my mild criticisms of the film. They do nothing with that part. With Alec Baldwin's part, nothing at all.
Apparently, he hates his performance he gives in it. But again, you know,
I don't hate his performance.
No, I don't. I think he's been very harsh on himself.
He's been very harsh.
He's working with what he's got.
Yeah,
he's been dealt the cards, and that, you know.
And you shot your shot.
You shot your shot.
Oh,
the Deets.
The Deets.
Awful characters.
I really like it.
But I think they've. The casting on it is very good. They've gone for comedy actors, and it needs that.
It. I haven't written it down.
They know how to play the silliness of it all.
My favourite character in this whole film is Delia Deetz, Catherine O'Hara.
Is it?
I really like her.
Mine's Sylvia Sidney Juno.
Oh yeah, I can tell. I can definitely see it's one of the two, but. Okay, all right. Out of the main cast that are in pretty much all of the film, it's Catherine O'Hara.
She's very good at playing that.
She's some of her eye movements.
Bit of a crazy lady.
Mental. Yeah. She was like, "If you don't let me remodel this house, I will go crazy." And she's crazy eyes. She's got crazy eyes.
She has crazy eyes.
I do really like Catherine O'Hara in this film. She's very good.
Yeah, she's a very good comedy actress.
And I have time for an actress like that. She knows her lane, and she's quite happy to be in it.
100%, and she does it well.
The only dramatic role I've ever seen her in is sort of in the Home Alone's.
Yeah.
Where she's that's a straight dramatic part for her.
Kevin.
Do you know what I mean?
Again.
Where she plays the worst mother in the world.
Twice.
She leaves your kid twice. Catherine.
How'd you get on a plane going to New York?
Exactly. How'd you go without your kids?
Don't get it.
Because they're not all... Anyway, we're talking about a different film.
Right, so for me, this feels... It's very much that... I've got a couple of notes here who said... Feels like a live-action animated film.
Yeah, and I think that was intentional.
There's not a lot of... Again, don't move the camera.
Don't move the camera.
Don't move the camera.
It
does a little bit. But there's a lot of... That's the camera there, shot right, and then it's my POV, your POV.
It's very much cut to his POV, cut to her POV, and then cut to your master. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It is that. I'm not wrong.
And the colours as well, the palette.
Well, it is like a... It is a cartoon, but I think it's intentional. It's intentionally done. It's supposed to be like a cartoon.
Yes.
It's certainly not a... that's a feature, not a flaw.
No. I'm just saying it very much feels like it's a live action animation. I know that makes sense to you. I hope it makes sense to our listeners.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice, though. What's your thoughts on Beetlejuice as a character and Michael Keaton's performance?
He's excellent in it.
Excellent.
He's excellent. I do have one small criticism.
Go on.
Difficult to understand now and again.
I think he's
with
got
the
that...
mumbly. Well, it is sort of intentional. I understand. It's sort of intentional. Yes. It's intentionally done. But I don't always like that because I'm like, I don't know what you said.
I think that character is... The notes that I've made is he reminds me of a 1970s TV car salesman.
Yeah.
He's full of shit, he's sleazy and he's a prick.
Yeah, you definitely get the hucksterish nature of him with that TV.
Mate, that's funny. Did you hear the last line he says there? He goes, I'll even chew on the dog. I wrote that. That was like, funny.
Yeah.
Another nice line that he's got is when he kicks his tree over. Nice fucking model. Never forget. I always remember seeing that line always stuck in the back of my head. Yeah. But Michael Keaton's performance.
Excellent. He's only in for the film for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He's total. He's the title. He is the title of the film. Character. Only 15 minutes in the film.
And considering what came after this in terms of legacy, weird.
I maintain there were a lot cut out of this. We've got to a bit.
I agree. 100% there was a lot cut.
Because right, as much as we have gone on about an hour and a half film, I think this film, this is a rare, write it down guys, I think that we could have done with a bit extra on the runtime.
15 minutes.
An extra 15 minutes. We could have done with it.
But listen,
let's just mark this moment. How rare is that for me and you to say, could have done with a bit more film in this film?
Very rare.
Very rare.
And we have to talk about films that are on an hour 40, 45, 50, even 2 hours to go. It didn't drag, it didn't lag, you know.
Do you know what I mean? I think this film could have done with...
It is missing bits.
An extra 10 or 15 minutes.
Because I say this...
Just a few extra scenes with...
I think it doesn't explain why... For one, I've put... You know... Why is he so powerful? It doesn't explain that. Why can he do what he can do?
That's what I feel like was either cut or cut out of the script.
Yeah.
Because he appears out of... He's very out of nowhere. He's not out of nowhere. They do set him up in the beginning.
It's missing little bits of...
But it's just missing... It's missing a scene in between where he opens the paper and he sees that they've died. And then he's almost immediately appearing with this TV advert.
Yeah.
We're missing a scene of
lots of
him... deciding that he's going to target this recently deceased couple. He's missing that scene, and I do think it could have done with a solid 10 minutes more. This film
10-15 minutes
because there's no room to breathe on this film, none at all.
Literally without credits, an hour and 27 minutes.
Yeah, it's literally bang 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 bang. You're done. Go on.
And I think that is one of my Not criticisms, but observations.
I think it is a criticism for me. It's one of my relatively few criticisms that I've got for it. The film is too short. It's strangely too short. It needs.
I think more. On paper, it shouldn't really work as a film because if you look at what we got versus the original script, it is not much. There's not much going on, man.
Well, what I would say in terms of screenplay, we've got a really good setup.
Interesting premise.
Interesting premise. A solid middle.
This doesn't do the premise justice.
A solid middle in the terms of, the sequence I'm talking about, and I'm going to come onto it, but put a pin in it. The sequence I'm talking about is the basically at the DMV of the afterlife.
Talk about it now.
No, but I just want to get my point on it, so just put a pin in that. And then, but a very rushed end. A very rushed third act.
Crazy.
Whop through the third act, and I'm like,
it doesn't have any room because
we started off at walking pace, and then all of a sudden we just run the third act.
Yeah,
it ambles all its way to there,
correct,
and then goes whop at the end,
correct,
and you're like, right, all right, it's finished then.
Yeah.
So that's it. But what I do want to call into focus, unpin, is the sequence with when they go to the authorities of the afterlife, essentially,
where they need to get advice of how to be a ghost.
I think that's the best sequence in the film. Right. One. Go on.
No, go on.
One, I think it's visually striking all the way through.
It's just because it's it's taking you away from what you've already been shown.
Yeah, it's visually striking. It's where they have fun with the with the world.
The problem is it only gives you a little bit. It gives you a bite of a biscuit, Mark. It doesn't go. And I get that it's budget, and at the time, 1988, blah blah blah, and it would have been fucking a very expensive film.
Yeah, but.
What's going on in that office down there, though? In the background, you're like, what's going on here?
I really like as well. Do you know, I don't know whether you noticed, because it's a throwaway line a bit later in the film, all the people who work at that office, they've committed suicide.
Yeah.
That's your punishment for committing suicide, because the receptionist should slash the wrists.
Yeah, and him hung himself.
And the guy who's handing out papers, he's hung himself because he's just been sent round. Obviously, the guy who speaks to them at the beginning, he's thrown himself in front of a train.
Yeah.
And
feeling a little flat.
Yeah, feeling a little flat. That guy, he's clearly thrown himself in front of a train because he's been flattened.
Yeah.
And of course, what's her face playing Juno? She's clearly slashed her throat. She's clearly cut her own throat because she takes a drag of the ciggy and the smoke comes out of her throat like that. Touch. Brilliant touch.
She's a great character in it.
Yeah, she's a fantastic character.
She is.
She's basically the one who explains them. She's the only one who explains who Beetlejuice is.
Yes.
For one thing, it used to be her assistant.
But then it doesn't explain, she doesn't go into why he's not anymore, and again, why he's been expelled, or he's outside of that system, or is he though?
All that they say is that he doesn't work well with others. It's all that she says.
Missing, Mark. It's all
there's
15 minutes
missing.
of bits.
But I do just want to call out the visual prominence of this scene. I think that's the sequence why this film is so well beloved, if you know what I mean.
Okay, well, let me counteract that and say I think there's 3 sequences in this film that people who, when you talk about Beetlejuice, they'll probably recall maybe 2 of these 3.
Okay.
So, the first sequence is with the prawns, when they first scare them, when they've got they're having their friends around the first time. Nearly an identical scene at the end as well, where we're having more friends round and we're scaring them. But then that's when the chaos and Beetlejuice is released and he's doing all this shit. So, and then the end sequence where she's floating and it's jump on the line.
Yeah, probably.
And I think when people think of this, the general public, when you ask them about Beetlejuice, they will remember 2 of those 3.
Yeah, sure. But for me, what I always remember is that the office where they go to.
It's great. It's
a great
scene. Again, because I really
like the guy who clearly he'd set himself on fire having a cig.
Yeah.
I'm trying to quit. Like, do you know what I mean? Really funny line. I howled laughing at that, where he was like, "I'm trying to quit."
I think it's a world. It's a world full of really interesting visual characters. Yeah. But we only get to see a tiny fucking bit of it.
It's full of potential. That's
100%, I agree.
That's the only part of the film where they actually explore the world, particularly.
Yeah.
The world that we're in.
This film should have been a story about they come across him in that world and not... It's too much time in the house. Again, here's another one for you.
But I do also get that they're tied to the house. They have to haunt that house.
This is what I was going to get about. So, if they died outside of the house, they can get back in, but they can't get out.
Well, they don't remember how they got back, though.
Well, they say that straight away. They're like, I don't remember walking back here.
Yeah, I don't remember getting back here.
And they come in wet.
So, they clearly just their soul immediately gets transported there. Okay, so that's what I took from it.
Yeah, but I don't get, like, what is the sandworm thing then? What?
That's clearly the netherworld thing of, like, you can never leave. Right.
Do you know what I mean? No, it's not.
Right, we're gonna have to divulge into a little bit of theology now. Right.
I know snakes represent...
Yeah, and it's a purgatory thing because, like, the
Dante.
lady, no, that's the Inferno, that's hell. But the girl in the office, purgatory is essentially the place where you've not been good enough to go straight to heaven. You have to redeem yourself by going right. And what it is, because the girl in the office, who cut her wrist, even said, you need to spend 120 years haunting that house before you even get to
she does.
Meetings with Juno. That. It's purgatory, and you're not allowed to leave purgatory until you've done your. It's celestial prison. You have to serve your sentence for it, and basically the snake is a bit like sort of the guardian of the underworld. You can't leave your particular purgatorial prison. That's what it is. It's purgatory. Again, the whole of the afterlife is purgatory.
Yeah, the point I'm making is it doesn't explain.
No, and I think
this film would benefit from just little little.
We could do with a couple of exposition dumps, couldn't we? Really,
we could do.
But.
And maybe Juno...
A lot of films like that at that time weren't heavy on the exposition, though. They were just a bit like, we don't need to have it explained.
But like
how much of Ghostbusters is explained to you as to why and where they've come from?
Listen,
I'm not criticising them.
Sacrilege.
Because Ghostbusters is a better film. Calm down. I'm not comparing. But I'm just simply saying... They just sort of... The ghosts are just there because they're there. And that's very much what this film is. It's like that because that's just how it is. And a lot of films in the 80s used to just do that.
We've not spoke about Winona Ryder.
Oh, come on then. We'll speak about Winona Ryder.
I mean...
She's quite good in it.
She's fine.
She's fine.
She's the typical goth type.
Yeah, but she's the goth type before the goth type were a type.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Very Tim Burton-y as a character.
Oh, you can tell why he cast her in other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She plays that particular kind of character very well, and Tim Burton loves that. He loves it. He loves a dowdy gothy girl. Let's be honest. He's mad on one. Mad on a goth girl.
One of his tropes.
Literally
is. It is. But listen, what it does give us is music by our friend Harry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Harry Belafonte.
Yeah.
Twice. Two songs.
Two hits.
Jump in the Line and the...
Very good. I'll take that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, very good. One of the highlights. Two of the highlights.
And Deo.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah, that's the first one when they make them dance around the table.
Yeah. When they first realise, wow, we have got
once
ghosts.
again, Catherine O'Hara, very good in that. You can see her facial acting very good in that.
Yes,
because comedic actress.
Exactly.
We've got
that role. Very good casting to get a comedy actress who's capable.
Yeah.
Of giving it the beans.
Yeah, she does give it the beans. She does. She tries all the way through, and I have to say, him playing as
fucking mate.
fella. No, but he's good as well. I weren't going to say, but the guy playing her husband.
Jeff
Charles
Jones.
Yeah, he's really good in it.
Yeah, both
in these
really good.
comedic scenes as well. Good. Both really good. But the guy playing her, Glenn Shaddix.
Otzi.
Playing Otho.
Yeah, Otho.
Yeah, he's very good in it. You can tell the type. Very 80s character, but you can tell the type. You know the type as soon as you meet him. It's like, I'm very into art and my culture, and I absolutely love all of this. And
pretentious cunt,
absolute cunt, but plays it really well. Yeah. He plays it dead straight, like in terms of not straight as in like serious, but like he's in the character
very much.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, saying all this, though, this film has a fucking legacy.
It does have a
Let's
legacy.
kick off by saying, at the time of recording this, Beetlejuice 2 is a thing.
Yes, and will happen at some point.
It's coming out in September 2024.
Yes. I feel like
a chunk of the original cast are in it.
I don't know why. Are there?
Yes, a chunk of the original cast.
I know they've got Michael Keaton.
Obviously.
Yeah, I've got no one else could play that part.
No.
But hopefully they've got Catherine.
I mean, people who listen to this podcast will probably know that Beetlejuice, they've been trying to make a sequel literally since the first one came out.
Since the first one, yeah.
The big idea that Beetlejuice... Well,
Can I poo-poo it a little bit? Go on. I don't think we need a sequel. We'll want a sequel. The sequel will be any good. And I'm not saying that because this film is in any way bad. It wasn't bad. It made fucking 3 times its budget. It made its money. 4 times its budget. Beg your pardon. But I don't understand what you can do with it. Like, you've told your story. What are you going to do with? What are you going to do with Beetlejuice's
I've got a
character now?
suspicious feeling that. Excuse me, that Beetlejuice 2 will be like The Force Awakens is to the Star Wars thing.
It'll be the same film.
It'll be same thing, Mark. I guarantee it's going to be the same thing.
It'll be the same thing, but it'll be shorn of any uniqueness that it had, and so therefore, with all the, shall we say, difficulties that there are with this particular plot, which we've outlined throughout.
You can't Beetlejuice and Michael Keaton that performance is underused in this film.
Like I say, he's only in the film for 15 minutes.
Less than a quarter of the film.
Do you know what I mean?
Less than a quarter of the film, Mark.
The film is not about him. It's about Gene Davis and Alec Baldwin's part. It's not about him.
But I think they built most of the film around him as an interesting character.
Yeah. And they do. He is constantly brought up. He's a presence in the whole film. But I'm still not even sure what else they could do with him. I don't understand what it's for. Who is it for?
I think half of it. Not even more than that, mate. I think the fact is Tim Burton is seeing his artistic prowess.
It's been and gone now. It's been and gone now. You're not a director that will come and constantly be making films. He's not Scorsese. He's not going to constantly just.
Well, once he gets for the last 20 plus years, he's been the Disney bitch.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. And, well, it's sort of his career full circle, isn't it? He's back to where he started, Tim Burton.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, it's a whole different...
spawned an animated series, mate. That ran for 4 seasons.
It was a hit, that...
and we both mentioned, I've seen it. I remember it.
I think I watched it more as, like, reruns of it, but...
Well, it came... The first season was 1989.
Yeah.
So early 90s, when he was a babby.
Yeah, but I did see it.
Video games.
Video games, quite a number of video games.
Yeah, and a stage fucking musical, Mark.
Yeah, a very hit and miss stage musical, apparently.
Was it?
Apparently, yeah. Very mixed bag in terms of reviews for it. But again, made its money. And it finished its run in 2020 for the coronavirus pandemic, and it's never gone back on now. But then again, that's a decent run for a musical.
I'm very surprised that this spawned such a legacy on the back of this film.
Okay, go on.
I mean, I don't get. There is a couple of scenes in it where I've like, oh yeah, I like that. But revisiting it for the show, I'm not impressed.
Really? The way you found nothing to me?
No, I find it very much. The things that come to mind were it's not too high, it's not too low. It's kind of average.
Okay.
I think Tim Burton was still pretty much an average filmmaker at the time, and that shows. There's no flashy direction. There's no Dutch angles. There's no whips. There's no. Do you know what I mean?
I think certainly isn't in terms of the cinematography. Like
but I do think it's
it's cut from one cut to other and cut to master.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It is that. I'll give you that.
You know, and I think it's for me. You know, it's all right, but I'm just going to go in straight away. I'd give this film a 7 because I think Sylvia Sidney, Juno, great little character, and Michael Keaton's performance is head and shoulders. He's almost like I'm on another plane here in terms of how I'm going to present this character. Again, you can tell if the original version was quite dark, he's gone the opposite, where he's just going to be this full of shit prick with all the quips. I think it's missing a lot of things, like we've said. Like I say, it's a very average film, and I'm going to give it an average score. I won't be in any rush to revisit it, but I do praise
parts of it.
I do praise parts of it, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily pick apart any of the actors or anything like that, because I think they're playing the part that they've been given.
Right.
So yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give an average film an average score. For me.
Well, I don't think 7's average. I wouldn't have said 7.
I know, but it's not.
It's
5 and 6 are a bit.
Well, all right. I think 7's probably your average skewing pretty good.
All right.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it'd be harsh to give it a 6 because of
6.
Because of the performances of Sylvia.
I'd have argued with you if you'd.
I'm not going to be a twat.
But
go on.
I'm going to meet you at a 7. I also am going to give it a 7. I think 8 is too high praise with nostalgia goggling things.
Yeah.
Right. Because it did get. I really liked this film when I were a kid, and it did skew younger. A little bit. It's the audience that it found ended up being a lot younger than I think Warner Brothers intended.
Again, what is its audience?
I think Warner Brothers intended sort of young adults, but actually it ended up skewing a lot younger to that.
Yeah,
they ended up with like McDonald's tie-ins with like toys and shit. Like, so it ended up skewing younger anyway. So I remember really enjoying this, and I remember thinking this is what we get like funny as fuck film. I don't think that now. I think it's tittery.
Yes.
I think it's tittery.
Yes,
all the way through. I do really appreciate the visual style of the film.
Like I say, it's you beginning to see the stylistic choices of him as a director.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like full on. I'm a Tim Burton film. You know what I mean? That's later down the line. And also, I absolutely agree about the performances. The standouts to me are Sylvia Sidney as Juno, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, and for me, Catherine O'Hara as
but no one's bad in it.
Absolutely no one's bad in it. Even Alec Baldwin, who's not great in it, I suppose. It's just because he's
playing
got
that character.
So I do really enjoy it. I appreciate it. But I think now as an adult, I think you're right. It doesn't quite grab you in terms of like a lot of the other films, like when we watched The Goonies, I hadn't watched it in a long time, and I watched it and I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I can't really say the same thing about it. I appreciate it. It's always going to be there, and I will watch it again sometime in my life. I'm quite sure, but
rush.
But yeah, I'm in no rush, so I'll meet you at a 7.
All right, mate.
There, I think it's fair. 6 would be harsh. 8 would be high praise. It's a 7. It's a 7 of a film.
It's a 7 of a film.
And there's nothing of substance. It might well be for many people. It might well be their particular chocolate biscuit of a film.
Yes.
That they just like it.
Fair play.
Yeah, and I quite like it, but I'm not mad for it. Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, guys, that's been us, and this has been Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
So do get in touch, guys, on the socials. You know, send us an email, thevaultofcult@gmail.com. We're on Instagram at thevaultofcult. You know, leave us a little review, like, share on any of the platforms that you listen to us on, and we hope to see you on the next one. So it's a goodbye from me
and me, in a bit, Skip.